What's up guys, Ravindra Jose here, and today I'm going to talk about a funny thing that most of them do when they buy a camera. What are the things that they do before buying, and once they buy, how do they use it? So let's have a fun time today. So before I go further, help me grow this channel by subscribing to my YouTube channel. I'll be sharing videos of this kind every week. Well, first of all, let me talk about the kind of research an individual does when they buy a camera. A lot of time is spent in researching which camera to buy. That's the biggest question that most of them have. And they spend all of their time in exploring different possibilities. The first thing that they do is search in the YouTube for different reviews written by some of the famous photographers or by the tech channels. Next is to go through different kind of blogs and websites where they mention all the specifications and they compare different cameras. Remember one thing, it might be a paid post out there. Next is to check with the friends and sometimes even ask your friends to get it from different countries. And the last thing is to check in the local store and the online store for the best of best price that you can get. Well, there is nothing wrong in doing this research. It's a good thing to do, I would say. The funny thing comes next. Well, there are a few funny things where people, without knowing the background of the photographer, they just think that this particular photo is because he has got the best of best camera. And let me buy the same camera so that I get the same thing. But then you don't know anything about the camera that he had used before. The next thing is comparing cameras. It's a good thing to do, but then do not compare with other photographers. Just because I use a Nikon camera and there is another photographer who's using a Canon camera or a Sony camera, don't just buy a camera blindly. Instead, make your own research and whatever you're comfortable with, go ahead and buy that. First of all, you need to understand why you need a particular model of camera. And the same applies to the lens. If you're shooting a wedding photography, then you might have to consider buying an 85mm or a 7200mm for a candid wedding photography. If it's a portrait, then you might consider buying 50mm f1.4 kind of lens. If it's a macro shot where you might want to capture some insects, then you might have to buy the necessary lens. And if it's wildlife, then you might go for a prime 400mm lens. And then there is this astrophotography where you might need a wide open aperture like f1.2 or 1.4 or 1424 f2.8 kind of lens. Once you do all the research and you think of buying this camera, you add it to the cart, make use of the card, and then make the necessary payment, and you get the shipment. So what do you do after you get the shipment is a big question mark. And here is what the funny thing happens. Most of them take their camera out and then they start shooting for about a month, and then it becomes a showcase piece and nothing more than that. So in order to get those best of best shots and videos, the first thing that you need to do is to go through the manual that is available that you get along with your camera when you make any purchase. And the next thing is to go through the online tutorials that are available both for paid as well as free. The best thing to do is to subscribe to channels like mine and others where you get to learn editing and how to shoot photos all for free. You don't have to pay even a single penny. So you can contact the YouTube creator directly. And the last thing is to buy the necessary accessories. Say for example, if you have a GoPro, then make sure that you buy gimbal. Check out the card above if you want to know more about gimbals. Because all that I'm trying to say is when you can spend so much of your time in exploring different things before you buy a camera, why don't you spend some time in learning about your camera and how to edit photos and capture good images. So make sure you learn all of these things once after you buy the camera. The same applies for videos. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Smash the like button if you like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel.